Welcome to another episode. This is GMAK the Boilermen. As you can see, we're messing with different camera angles. I had one further away, then I had one closer. Now we're trying to do one a little bit closer. I got my puppy here banging into the table here, shaking the lens. But what's up, Ace? This is Ace. Come on, baby. Look in the camera. Look. Oh, my little Corso. That's the GMAK mascot right there. He's a good boy. So anyway, on this episode, the last one we were talking a little bit about the trades and being blue collar and whatnot. On this one, I kind of wanted to talk about, getting the business off the ground and some strategies that you could possibly use to, get some positive movement, right out of the gate. So I remember when we started the company, everything comes down to strategy, but in reality, it really comes down to how much effort you're putting in on a daily basis. In the beginning, it's the hardest, right? Because you don't have any clients, and you're kind of starting from scratch, or you're lucky enough to have a client or two, even if they're small clients. But at the end of the day, what's really important is just showing up every single day, putting forth your best efforts, and just making sure you're doing what the customer needs. One of the things that we are really good at is not trying to do too many things at the same time. So really what I'm trying to say is kind of niche down to the things that you do best. So I see some guys, they try to take on multiple projects all at the same time, or even though there's like a linear movement between the thing that you do and some other items inside the business. Like we're very boiler centric, our company, so we focus more on heat and hot water issues, and we've gotten really good at those things. You know what I mean? Even on the plumbing side, we're very boiler centric. We have stepped outside, but remember, we're 6 or 7 years in the business, and he keeps shaking the freaking table. Come on, up. Sorry about that. Not a bad distraction though, but. We have now stepped into some linear jobs, but in the beginning we didn't do that. I didn't get into things that we really couldn't handle or things we really weren't geared for because it just didn't work for us, and the more you stretch, the harder it becomes. So we try to keep it real streamlined, and that's the first thing I really suggest for companies out there. If you're really just getting started, is pick the thing that you're really good at, hone in on that thing, sell that thing, push that thing, and make sure you do that thing really well. And then as time evolves, you can make that linear movement over, and as your finances grow, as your team builds, because that's the other thing. When you first start, typically, you're going to have one or two guys, yourself, maybe a business partner, maybe you hire one guy to kind of help you out because you don't have the funds really to carry multiple mechanics. And then as time evolves, you're obviously adding different items, different people to the mix. With that being said, one of the other things that we did is, as we started building a client list, we started talking to our clients about how happy they were, things we could be doing better, ways that we could round out the company to make it a little bit more streamlined, a little bit easier to operate. And then on top of that, as our systems got better, and as we felt we were doing a very good job, we asked the clients for referrals. So now we've really built our company personally mostly on word of mouth. Almost all of it's word of mouth or through social media. I've always liked it that way. There are a lot of guys out there that'll tell you to run campaigns and ads and things like that. I haven't run one ad yet for this company, and the reason for that is the way we show up, the way we do our job, the way that we produce for our customers has always led to more customers. So back to what I was just saying, we will have meetings at least once or twice a year with our clients, purposely done to communicate anything back and forth, right? That's not just on our end, that's for them as well. And a lot of times those conversations lead into the next company that they want to suggest us to. And that's kind of how it happens. And a lot of times it doesn't happen during the off season. It happens during, usually when they're having some struggles or, going through with whatever company they've been dealing with. There's a lot of boiler companies out there, and you have to find that niche that sets you apart from others, right? Because you're not going to be able to match the manpower or the ability to handle a lot of jobs or large jobs the way a bigger company can. So how is it that you, on the smaller scale, can set yourself apart from the other companies? So these are a few things that I think can really help take you from, $0 to your first 200 or 200K or $500,000 a year. And then you have to figure out where you want to go, right? So, but it's step by step. So you have to start at the ground level. And these are some really good ground level tactics that I think can really help enhance your company or move your company forward as quickly as possible. And I'm not going to lie, we got a little bit, nothing is luck. Everything comes with relationships. Even myself, we got a lot of clientele because my father was in the business also. I'm not going to even talk about that on this episode, but what I'll say is I made a lot of relationships over the years. I made a lot of contacts, and when one thing led to another thing, and then we ended up with some clients that way too. So there were some long-standing relationships that went before we even started the company. So we kind of got a good, starting off point as opposed to some of these other companies. If you're starting off fresh, you don't maybe not walk in with a client or two, and because sometimes it can make things a little bit easier, right? When you have one client, all you really have to do is do right by that one client. Hopefully that one client turns into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so on. Another thing that I think is really important is connecting with other companies that maybe do things that you don't do. So if you have a list of items or jobs that you do well, that you're really focusing on, then you find out the things that you're really not gearing yourself for right now, and align yourself with another company that's trustworthy, that does a really good job, that you can connect with, that can kind of fill the gaps. Because in these types of businesses, especially mine where I'm dealing with large companies, they're looking to somebody like me to set them up. So even if they're not the ones, even if you're not the one doing the specific job, they will still look to you because they don't, you're taking the guesswork out of it for them. So once you have built that relationship or you've built that trust, and I do that a lot. There are a lot of items outside of the boiler room that I don't handle, but I handle it for them because I've cultivated relationships with other companies that do the stuff that I don't do. And to add to that, if you meet another company, you should meet another company that also doesn't do the thing that you do. So when they come across jobs, now they're referring jobs back to you, right? So you're creating these relationships that are not just you passing work on, but there's a give and take relationship. So when you need them, great, you call them up. When they need you, they call you up. And you have this back and forth relationship. I have that with a couple of companies. One in particular that I do a lot of work with on the boiler side, and they handle a lot of the plumbing stuff that I don't handle because we don't do toilets and we don't do apartment stuff. We don't really get too much into the gas, which is a whole other animal in New York City. So I'm able to give them a lot of work, and then to kick it back to us when it comes to doing boilers or certain types of jobs, they kick it back to us. So that's another way, kind of getting your foot in the door, getting some work flowing. Maybe the money's not as good, but again, all these little things, when you add it all together, can accumulate over those first 6 months, year, 2 years, to kind of get the wheels turning. And at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about here in this video, right? It's how do we really get the wheels churning? How do we really build something that can be sustainable over the years, and in order to sustain, I think, longevity in these types of businesses, or really any service type of businesses, first and foremost, how you show up for the client, the type of mechanic that you are, the way you handle their problems, the relationships that you build. In reality, the relationships is the biggest one, and how you show up, man. If you're honest, if you're on time, if you're doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, don't be a jerk off, don't around and, tell them one thing, do a whole nother other thing, man. Just be fully transparent, show the up, do the right job, and just be a steward of the business that you're in. I have a very hard exterior. The way I speak can be a little bit aggressive at times, but I always show up for my clients, and I always make sure I'm doing the right job, and making sure they have everything that they need every single day. And sometimes that means going outside of my comfort zone or going into an environment that I don't necessarily want to go into, but that's a conversation for another day. But just talking about building that company from the ground level, these are some really good tactics that you can use to build a really successful company. And, you know, I'm only speaking from the stuff that we went through. There are situations maybe I haven't come across, but... Hey! Sorry. Here. Sorry about that. What would be a video without the dog coming in, you know what I mean? This is my GMAK mascot, so I can't just push him to the side. He's just a pain in my puppy still. But yeah, man, I mean, those are some really important tactics, things that we've learned over the years that I think can really help you excel and move your company forward and make your company a ton of money. So I hope you got something out of this episode. I know, you know, it's been 10 minutes or whatever, but it really does come down to the efforts you put in and the things you're willing to do on a daily basis. While you're at it, too, I always forget this part, and it's something I'm getting better at, too. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, man, please subscribe. I hope you're enjoying the content. We're doing our best to bring you the best content we can on a daily basis. You can see there's been a lot of changes in kind of our approach and how we're doing things. I've gone more to this type of, you know, just talking straight to you, the viewer, you know what I mean, and making more of a, you know, a weekly thing where we're on here 2-3 times a week. Yeah, I know, baby. So, you know, it really helps the algorithm. You know, give us a follow, give us a like down below. I really would love to hear from you guys, man. Throw a comment down below as well. Let's talk about it. You know, tell me maybe there's some strategies that work for you. Not everything I'm saying will work for you. Maybe something works for you. And in reality, I'm only 6-7 years in my company. I've been in the business longer. But maybe there's some strategy that you have that I could use, because at the end of the day, we're all about helping each other out, and that's what this channel is all about, is just helping you out. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking for money. I'm not having no products to sell. We're here just out of the kindness of our heart. We take the time out of our day to really help you and want to help you grow. So I hope you have an amazing day. Keep building that company. We love you. We appreciate you. Peace.